How are you guys doing? This is Aiken Storty. I'm your host here at Extreme Foolishness TV. If you haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button, hit the bell, share this video, like this video. Anyway, today I'll be talking to you guys about Kyle Rittenhouse. Remember him? The Kenosha shooter who is presently in jail right now, awaiting extradition to Kenosha, Wisconsin. He wants to sue Joe Biden for defamation. Why does he want to sue Joe Biden? Well, he wants to sue Joe Biden because he claims Joe Biden ran a political ad that defamed him. Watch this video, see for yourself, then I'll give you my legal analysis after you watch the video.
Are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland?
Sure,
are you
I'm
prepared to
do
specifically
that, but
do it?
I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from the right wing.
So what are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace.
Then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it. Do you want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
white
name.
Supremacists and
white like me to condemn?
White supremacists and right
Proud Boys, stand back and stand by.
As you can see from the video contains excerpts from Chris Wallace's questions to President Trump during the interview with Joe Biden at the presidential debate, the first one, where Chris Wallace asked President Trump to disavow white supremacists and militia groups, such as the ones they have in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and everything that followed after that. So pretty much, after the ad uses that excerpt, and at the point where Chris Wallace said Kenosha, Wisconsin, the picture of Kyle Rittenhouse appears. And Joe tweeted something about white supremacists. So Kyle Rittenhouse was claiming that Joe is making him feel like a white supremacist. It's referring to him as a white supremacist. There have been a lot of YouTube videos talking about how Joe Biden has defamed Kyle Rittenhouse and that he's going to pay up to Kyle Rittenhouse. A lot of those folks know nothing about the law. They don't know how it works. They just blow smoke. But I will explain to you guys why, if Kyle Rittenhouse files any lawsuit against Joe Biden, it's not going to hold any water. First of all, that question that Chris Wallace asked President Trump, asking him to disavow either white supremacists or militia groups. So it appears a lot of these Kyle Rittenhouse fans are only focusing on white supremacists. They are not focusing on militia groups. We know that Kyle Rittenhouse was 17 at the time he went to Kenosha, Wisconsin. He had an assault rifle. There's a video out there in the internet where he claimed he went to Kenosha, Wisconsin to defend businesses with other folks, with his other groups. They all had assault rifles. Kyle Rittenhouse is not a police officer. He's not a security officer. The business he was at in Kenosha, Wisconsin is not his business. He did not have a license to carry that assault rifle. He could not own one in Kenosha, Wisconsin. So you can arguably say that he is a member of a militia group. Whether that is true or not, that is someone's opinion. That is why we have the First Amendment. Reasonable minds can differ. If Joe Biden's campaign feels as a member of a militia group because he went with folks who did not have the right to carry that weapon, well, that's his opinion. However controversial that opinion may be, that is his problem. You cannot use that to chill free speech. And because Kyle Rittenhouse is a public official, yes, he's a public figure, not a public official. He's a public figure. The way the law works, because this story has been in the news, it's been all over the news, all over the internet, it's everywhere. He's going to be treated as a public figure, or he's going to be treated as someone involved in a story that has a matter of public interest. So in the defamation lawsuit, the United States Supreme Court jurisprudence, case law will kick in. You will not use state law here. If you have to use state law, he cannot conflict with the Constitution and U.S. Supreme Court law. That law pretty much states that in a matter of public interest such as this one, the plaintiff that's suing a defendant will have to show that that defendant had actual malice. It's an actual malice standard. In other words, that person knew that the story that they aired or whatever they wrote was false, or with reckless disregard as to whether it was false or not. So Kyle Rittenhouse will have to show that Joe Biden and the Biden campaign acted with actual malice. In other words, that they knew that saying he's a member of a militia is false, or with reckless disregard as to whether it was false or not. I know you're looking and thinking like, how's that false? If he says he's a member of a militia member, that's an opinion. The First Amendment protects opinion. That's an opinion statement. There's enough basis to form an opinion that he's a member of a militia gang. And to add to that, he will have to show by clear and convincing evidence. This is what he will have to show. On a normal civil suit, the standard is a preponderance of the evidence. You only have to show that more likely than not. But in this case, Kyle Rittenhouse and his lawyers will have to show by clear and convincing evidence, which is higher than a preponderance of the evidence, maybe lower than beyond a reasonable doubt, but higher enough, that Joe Biden and his campaign acted or knew that that ad was false, that Kyle Rittenhouse is not a member of a militia group, or with reckless disregard as to whether or not it was false, that it was a militia group member or not. The folks were saying, Lynn Wood and the other folks are saying that, well, he's making Kyle Rittenhouse look like a white supremacist, and he's not. Hey, even if he's not a white supremacist, you can still argue that he's a militia member. That's his opinion. And the bar is so high, most likely this case will get dismissed. And if Kyle Rittenhouse were to file any lawsuit anyway, Joe Biden and his campaign are entitled to what we call affirmative defenses, that it was true or First Amendment. So that means they have every right to grill Kyle Rittenhouse in a deposition. Most likely it's going to be by video. They're going to ask him questions back and forth. They're going to ask him questions. He will have to answer. He has to appear for a deposition. He will have to respond to questions from the Biden campaign while he has criminal murder charges pending. So he exposes himself to giving out information that may and most likely will be used against him in the criminal charge. The question is it worth it? Not all battles are worth fighting. So if Kyle Rittenhouse files a lawsuit against Joe Biden, most likely that lawsuit will be gotten rid of in a simple motion to dismiss. I'm sure they're going to have lawyers there. Or in a motion for summary judgment, where Joe Biden is going to argue that based on the facts and the law, what we have, the judge can rule and throw this case out. There's no need to keep going further. And that's most likely what is going to happen because of the actual malice standard that they're going to use, that he will have to show. And because this is a matter of public interest, and that he will not be able to prove that Joe Biden knew this was false, or with reckless disregard as to whether it was false or not, that he's a member of a militia, as a militia group. There's just no way he can overcome that bar. Whatever lawsuit he will file will most likely be dismissed. The thing now is that, his lawyer says Joe Biden should retract the ad. And even if he doesn't, like I said, this lawsuit will not hold any water. Anyone can file a lawsuit. That doesn't mean your lawsuit has any merit or will survive the challenges and all the obstacles, such as all the motions. That lawsuit most likely will not make it to trial. That's my opinion. And that's based on the law. That is most likely what's going to happen. Because it's a public figure. It's a matter of public interest. The actual malice standard will be too high of a burden for Kyle Rittenhouse to overcome by clear and convincing evidence to prove. The case is going to be thrown out of court. It's probably going to waste some time. If I were him, I would focus on the murder charges. That is his freedom at stake. Again, consequences have actions, just like he knows. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think that Kyle Rittenhouse's lawsuit has any merit? Do you think that he's just blowing smoke? Let me know what you guys think. Again, if you haven't subscribe, like, share this video. Let me know. Aiken Story here, Mr. Making Pay, as usual. Remember, say no to extreme foolishness.